Welcome, welcome, welcome to the No Faces Comic Chat. This is BUB'S Comics coming at you live and with my hand. So if it's your first night to No Faces Comic Chat, you'll know that we don't show our faces, but we show lots of great books. And here with me, as always, to show off these fantastical books, we have my cohort, your cohort, everybody's cohort. Metarog's in the house. Say greetings, everyone.
Greetings, everyone. Cohort number 1 here.
Cohort number 1, and waiting in the wings. Can't wait to get off the wings like a creature outside wreaking havoc on Captain Kirk. We've got DS Comics. Say hello.
What is up? Almost fell asleep during that long intro.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do what now? What's going on?
You're getting your money's worth from that intro app thing you're using there because you got some.
I appreciate that. All made possible by the generous yet sparse $2 donations made to the No Faces Comic Chat. Your money's not wasted here. It's wasted other places, but not here.
Oh, are you monetized, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't put advertisements on any of my videos. So the only money that the channel takes in is from donations. So
yeah, I don't recall seeing ads on your channel ever, but you're over 1,000. So I guess that's a possibility if you wanted to go that route, but thank you for not.
Yes, it's been available to me for a while, but I do not do it. Yeah. And I also have it turned off to where there's no tracking on my videos either. So no personal information, no cookies or whatever they do happens through my channel. So
yeah, I do the same thing. I don't monetize, or I don't even do the PayPal thing. So.
Yeah, the only thing I've got is Super Chat, and that's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
well, I'm not worried about it already. I don't do enough content to qualify for any of that stuff anyway. So if you click on any of my videos that I do once a month, they start playing right away, and there's no intro, and there's no commercial. There's no super chat. It's just strictly content once a month. That's it.
Once a month.
Yeah.
As semi-regular as a beef and cheese diet. Yep.
Once a week is. I mean, I want to do once a week, but it goes by and then I don't get it. So I don't know. I try to do something once a month, and lately it's just been unboxing. So I have a pretty boring channel, but whatever.
People like the unboxings. Well, look at here. We got Rob Boswell dropping the double dose there. So he gets a little extra.
Yeah. You had an auction the other day with Kenny too, right?
I did, yeah. So that counts as content, I guess.
Absolutely counts, man. Some of the auction channels get the most heat, so yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a pretty slow night overall because I watched Economics and Comics. Bill was having an auction, and he's got like I don't know 8,000 subs or whatever, and he only had like 60 people watching his auction, and we only had like 30 to 35, me and Kenny, but it was a good group. It was all people in the community. It went very smoothly, and we had some really good books. And everything went out today for me. I packed up a lot of stuff, but people got some good deals on some good books on Saturday.
Look at this. Unruly Simeon coming in too. So he gets the Sideways Trot Wonder Woman. The rarely seen. This is a rarely seen animal when the standard slow motion Wonder Woman has already been used for the night. The staggering, sad morning after Wonder Woman. She's this one's got regret. She's
one side variant.
Yeah. We thank you guys. Too kind, really. Too kind. Absolutely. We appreciate it as always. Let's talk to the chat real quick. Let's see what we got. We got Ruben. You know what, Roger? You haven't done it in a while. Why don't you shout out the chat for us?
It would be my honor. Thank you very much. Yeah, tailgating or gale-tating, as I said before, erroneously. For the chat, Ruben Guzman was here. How you doing? Kawabanga, obviously a big TMNT fan in here. Of course, your buddy and mine, Rob Boswell, as always, faithful as the south wind. I mean, this guy is always here. Speaking of faithful, we got the unruliest of simians in here, my buddy from, of course, Grader's Notes as well. And speaking of funny,
Australia.
Chaos in Comics, so well, such a great name because he is chaotic and he knows his comics. So welcome again. We got some guy named Metarog with a blue wrench. I don't know, maybe he's a plumber, who knows, whatever. Of course, another one of our buddies, your fellow Kentuckian, Jambo's in here. Class act all the way.
Yes, sir.
And here we go. Mr. Gretzky, big Archie guy, big hockey guy is in here. Again, he's been with us forever, right? And of course, one of the big contributors here, financially and chat-wise, Bill Comic Mag Musings from Arizona. He has not yet melted. All those rumors are untrue. He's still fine and dandy.
We're gonna need some proof on that,
Bill. My buddy Jason from Heroes to Icons just had a contest entry in today, and of course, all the way from the UK, staying up with us late night owl himself, the Game On.
All right, welcome.
And speaking of Graders Notes, of course, Kenny, Comic Hit 84. Man, what can I say? This is a guy that every time he does a video, it's must-watch stuff. Very entertaining guy. Classy guy as well. Speaking of class, Slim Comics and more. I hope you're feeling better, buddy. He had a little operation. He's out of work for a little while. Yeah. And coming up, Chad Fisher saying hi to you, Bub, and to me. How you doing, Chad? And Jackson Roy Kirk, all the way from New Orleans. I hope you're safe. I hope that storm passes you by. All the way from Australia, we got our buddy Simple Simon, a big fan of drinking with Old Wolf. That's a video you got to see there. I mean, I thought they drank him under the table. James Gallegos, did you see that? Did you see that video?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that was you got to see that. That's fun.
Half of them probably couldn't remember it.
The next day he showed up on Life with YouTubers. We had a live stream and he was so hungover he could barely talk. Oh, Simon, you are the best, buddy. And as I said, James Gallegos, my buddy from New Mexico, again, very faithful here in the No Faces chat. Thank you guys for coming by. We appreciate it.
Good stuff. We got Kavi showing up late too to the party.
Where is he? Where's Kavi? Where's Kavi? Oh, there he is. Comics Books NYC. Great guy of the community as well. Love
and DS, you can't forget him.
Well, he's one of the crew. I didn't shout you out either. I just shouted out that jerk Metarog.
I appreciate that.
I don't want to be shouted out. I don't want to be recognized.
He wants to hide in the corner there.
I like lurking, but it's kind of hard to lurk when I'm on the panel. So I will put my alter ego in the chat.
Is that SD Comics?
All right, so what do we got here? We've got 17 in chat already. Thank you so much for all being here. I appreciate it. And tonight we are going – wait, somebody knows this. DS gave a major flub last week, had no clue what the topic was, didn't have an idea of any of it. So instead of trudging over those old scars and memories, we're going to ask DS, what's the name of our chat tonight?
We are the Alienated Terrestrials.
Oh, you bum.
Yay. Yay.
How'd you do that?
Sure, I'm going to see where you go with this, but Alienated Terrestrials, I was like, oh, aliens, that's cool. But then they're not aliens. They're terrestrials who have been alienated. So I'm not sure for what we're talking about here, if it's just Earthlings that have been alienated or if it's aliens. So,
what do you call a spaceman from Earth who lands on another planet? What does that indigenous species call him?
Extraterrestrial.
Extraterrestrial. Yeah.
Right. So he's been alienated from Earth and now he's terrestrialized in an extraordinary status on planets unknown.
All right. Well, I guess I'll take my only modern book down then, since this doesn't qualify apparently now.
Sure it does. No, I'm just messing with you. That's right there. You know what, DS? You have taken the mantle. We're so proud of you. Go ahead and start it off, brother.
All right. So I just posted this on my Instagram, and I was like, hey, I already have my stack of slabs out, Golden Age bangers back there with aliens themes. But then I was like, hey, this ASM 300 there's an alien right there, one of the most popular, coolest aliens in comics, Venom. So yeah, ASM 300, first appearance of Venom, who is probably the most famous. Well, I don't know. I think Superman's probably a more famous alien, but Venom's probably a more popular alien at this point in comics. Yeah. So Venom. And interestingly, this is sort of a side note to Venom, but the Venom movie, I liked it. I know a lot of people didn't like it and got bad reviews. I thought it was good. It also sort of reminded me of that movie Life. If anybody's seen that recent sci-fi movie Life, that sort of seemed like it could have been related to the Venom backstory. And then I just watched a movie last night called Sputnik, which is a Russian film, which is sort of like the Russian hybrid of Venom and Life. So if you like those type of movies, check out Sputnik. It's available to rent on demand, and it's a new movie, and it's really cool. I'm not going to give spoilers, but yeah. So ASM 300, Venom, most popular alien in comics right now, I think. Superman has a longer history, but I think people like Venom more than Superman. And a very cool concept with the symbiotic relationship. Like usually aliens just are individual and stand alone and wreak havoc and interact with Earthlings or whatever. But this one has a symbiotic relationship, which was a very original concept when it came to comics. I can't recall ever before Venom seeing a symbiotic sort of alien comic story arc. So it was really, really cool.
Look at Kenny here. We had Rob. We had Rob the Rican come in, dropping the super chat. We had Kenny, Comic Kid 84, dropping because he figured terrestrialized as a $5 word. But you can't argue with that. I don't think you can try, but you're gonna lose.
Can't argue with that.
So they get some more Linda. If we keep this up, we're gonna have to get some new Lindas in the house. So thank you for saying that and being part of the chat, guys. We appreciate it. I totally agree. I struggle because I am not a huge Venom by himself fan. Now, I like Venom as a villain. So I like Venom and Spider-Man fights. I like their stories together. I like Venom as a character for sure. But when I think of like which character, like if you told me there can now no longer be X character and someone either replaced it with Venom or Superman, I would say take Venom away because I've seen enough Venom by now. And they've had Carnage which is also symbiotic, right? And alienized. So you've got all those other incarnations that they've come up with. Scream, I think, is one. And
Chaos. Isn't Chaos one?
Yeah, I think there's so many. There's like 5 or 6 now at least.
Isn't Null one of those things too?
I think so. I think isn't it the leader of their world or whatever? So
I don't know. Only thing I know about Null is I hear people bitching about speculators and flippers ruining the hobby, and it usually comes in the same sentence as Null recently. So whenever I hear that, I love watching the drama unfold and everybody crying the blues about it. And I'm just thinking all of you guys are just step back outside of that modern spec bubble. And there's like 65 years of stuff way before that's all awesome. And it doesn't have any of this BS associated with it. But that's the only thing I know about Null. You know what I mean? Carnage was at the end of when I was collecting when I was younger. This was in my wheelhouse. And then Carnage was sort of towards the end of when I was collecting, and anything after Carnage, I really don't know. And there's been different. Wasn't Venom like a hero, and then he was like a secret agent? There's like Agent Venom or Venom Alpha. Venom, yeah. I mean, there's all sorts of iterations. And then they had a whole host of symbiotes, no pun intended. But I don't know.
This is a good one.
No pun intended, but that was definitely
a good one.
Intended. Yeah.
At some point, they oversaturate with very derivative characters. Spider-Man is another situation where there's so many, offshoots. It's almost like you have a hit show, and then you have a spin-off, and then you have a spin-off of the spin-off, like so on and so forth. And it gets so far down the field, you don't even recognize what the original concept was, and it's just so diluted and barely recognizable as the original from the original tree. And Venom is definitely one of those. And like I said, Spider-Man now with the Miles Morales and the Spider-Gwen and the Spider Thing and the Spider Dude and all
Spider
this.
Thing? You're going to have to explain the spider thing to us, Roger.
I'm being facetious, but yeah, you know what I mean. It just keeps going on down the line,
Yeah, well, I think the symbiote definitely counts. All the iterations of the symbiote definitely counts. So that's a great one to start off with, DS, because that is one alien that spawned an entire sub-genre of the Spider-Man universe. So that's really something there. I mean, talk about an important inclusion in the Marvel universe. So very good choice.
Agreed.
Thank you. This was just a last-minute add-on to the itinerary, and admittedly, the smallest book I'll show tonight, and it's going to be the only one that I'll probably sell anytime soon. Also,
yeah, I think From Heroes to Icons was asking if you do layaways.
I do layaway. There's two questions when I'm selling something. I'm not going to spend a long time on this, but there's two questions people ask me when I'm selling something. That every time I hear this question, I sigh and I'm like, oh God, here it comes. But I'll field it and we'll see. But 99% of the time, number one is, do you do trades? And as soon as people want to trade, they want to give you crap for something good, and they want sort of money on the trade. But I'm not giving away good books for crap. You know what I mean? So that trading doesn't work. And the other thing is, do you do payment plans? I do payment plans, but 99% of the time, somebody want to do a payment plan on a $200 book, and I was like, already like $200 book. All right, half now and half next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But I mean, the more friends I'm with somebody, the more likely I am to just be like, $10 a week till it's paid off type thing. Probably not that low, but people want payment plans, and then they want, they don't want to put anything down, or they want me to hold book. So yeah, layaway doesn't work, but I'm down if we want to discuss it. If you got a realistic thing, I'm down, because I got a lot going on. That gives me time to plan, because if people just buy stuff, then I got to package, ship it the next day. This gives me time to sort of plan. So I don't mind doing payment plans or layaway, but I mean, you guys know how it is with people want payment plans or they want to do trades. I'm just trying to sell stuff. If you can make it easy and efficient, then I'm down. Basically, that's the bottom line.
I think that's fair.
That's fair. Yeah, absolutely fair.
I'm good with that. I can't find the mention of the layaway plans. It's like
it was up. It was Heroes to Icons. It was a ways up.
Okay. Yeah, it's not really not worth discussing anymore. I mean,
I don't know if he was serious about it. It might have been a joke, but
Yeah.
All right, Roger. Come on, Roger. What do you got for us?
Well, when you first said it, aliens, right? And of course, by definition, anybody who's not a resident or a citizen of a country is an alien, right? But I'm assuming you meant extraterrestrial. So,
what was your first guess? What was your first clue to that, there, Roger?
I don't know, man. And colloquialisms, I guess.
Yeah, that's fair.
I wanted to sort of go back to what I think is, one of the first kind of mentions or in that of extraterrestrials in literature, and that would be H.G. Wells in War of the Worlds, which you see the Superman world and War of the Worlds. This is actually a prestige novel. And that was back in the 19th century, guys. There's actually references further back than that, even in Egypt or whatever. But that was sort of my first, I guess, first time I read something about an extraterrestrial. I was not in the 19th century, for you guys in the chat who are starting to put something in like that. It was in the 1970s, and I thought it was cool that they have, again, really one of the more famous aliens in comics, of course, Kal-El from Krypton, and of course, his longevity, like DS was saying, he's not nearly as popular now as he was back in the 40s and 50s, but certainly he still has a lot of longevity, and he still has a following. And then again, alien depends on your perspective, right? Because I mean, if we go to Mars, we would be the aliens, and so that's why I put this here about John Carter. It says John Carter of Mars, but really John Carter was of Earth, and he was teleported to Mars. And I guess he was an alien from that perspective. And again, and John Carter, we can go back to like Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon and all those kind of guys who were Earthmen who went to other planets or other space, et cetera, and had adventures as aliens in another world. So again, it's just a little bit different perspective depending on how you look at things.
I like that.
We could be extraterrestrials as well.
I like it.
Yeah, and I think John Carter. I do research occasionally on old sci-fi characters because I really dig sci-fi along with the horror. And I think it was like 1910 or 1912 or something like that. It was like Princess of Mars or the Princess on Mars or something was like the first appearance of John Carter, and it was like a book or a pulp. And then I think his first comic appearance was in an issue of the Funnies.
Correct. That's correct. Yeah, I think it was in the pulps. Yeah, I think it was one of the early pulps. Yeah. Yeah,
it was real, like 19 teens sort of. And then his first comic book appearance was in the Funnies, which was an issue of the Funnies in like probably I think 1939 or something. It was pretty early.
It was early. Yeah, I don't remember exactly, but you're right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think his first appearance, I think the book or the pulp had Deja Thoris on there with him. It's like a yellow cover. Pretty cool John Carter cover. But yeah, that's all I know about John Carter.
Yep.
I like it.
Oh, you got another super chat here, but I tell you, they're coming in droves today, Bub.
Oh man, that's too quick.
Hey, Bill.
What we got here? Well, when Linda was late for her date with DS. Oh, that's a fast run. We all know that because she's running late. Look, first we got this. Oh, what? Oh,
what? Oh,
it must be
DS,
time to
Bub.
go.
Who?
That's where she was late for the date right there.
Yeah. Well, first she had to realize she was late. And she jumped up running. Thanks, Bill. We appreciate it. Always good to the show. We're spending the money back in the show, everybody. We're doing what we can to annoy DS with fancy doodads. So that.
Mastodon says that it was 1912 was the first book appearance.
Yeah, I'll buy it. So yeah, like early 1910s, 19 teens, I think I said around that. So that's around the area I was talking about. So there you go, 1912. Yeah, and I guess it was a pulp, probably, right?
I remember him being in a pulp, but that sounds like even pre-pulp there.
Yeah, I mean they had some pulps, but yeah, I don't know what exactly it was, but I know it was early. And the cover's cool. It's like a very classic looking cover with Deja and John Carter. And then I was thinking about getting the first comic book appearance, but really I like Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon more. I would go. John Carter would be further down my list that I have a long time before I would get to that because there's some other ones I want to get. I really want the first Buck Rogers, Famous Funnies #3.
Famous Funnies,
but doesn't come up often. Not as expensive as one might think, but you just don't see them very often. And there's one on eBay now, but the guy's got that and like 3 other things, and he wants a lot of money for them. And I just want the one, and I don't think it's worth. Even the lot he has is not worth anywhere near what he's asking. But yeah, I'll get a Famous Funnies 3 sometime. First Buck Rogers.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Nice.
That'd be cool.
That would be nice. I've got that one that you have.
Yeah, I've got that here. I hate to take this Planet 1 down already, but I'll put it back up.
No.
Yeah, let's go with
you're killing Bub there with that one. Yeah.
Because Bub's got this one too, then we can talk about it. And yeah, when CBCS reholdered this, they put it like up to the upper left, which I really like. Very cool way to do it. It's not centered anymore with all that weird space around it. It's under the number grade, upper left, and then the spaces on the bottom and on the right side. It looks much cooler like this.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Yeah. Fabulous color.
I love it.
And this has got like a weird light blue, which wasn't coming through the old CBCS case, and now the blue really pops on the colors really pop on this now, and really.
Bubs.
Yeah, there it is. I've got one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
It's a cool little item. It's it's pre Famous Funnies 3, so it predates his official recognized first appearance. But I mean, it's 1933, and it counts. I mean,
it's definitely not a comic book.
No, it's not a comic book, but it's in the neighborhood. I think it's in the real.
Absolutely. There's illustrations on every page, so I count it.
Yeah, it's cool. I mean, in 1933, there was not a very well-developed comic book industry. There were a lot of inserts, a lot of giveaways, a lot of little things like this, a lot of like pocket-sized things and weird shaped like Buster Brown shoes type things, and a lot of comic strips in the papers was still the big thing. And then pulps. So there was a wide variety of things that was still shaking out as far as comics. And, it wasn't until the late 30s where comics sort of took over the market as a main thing. But there were a lot of sort of like tryout in different formats, and this is one of them. So I think historically significant, although never will reach Famous Funnies 3 territory because it's not technically a comic book, but I think it's historically significant and it's super cool. And fortunately, Bub has it raw, so he can look at it. I can just stare at it through plastic. That's it.
You can see about 10% of it.
Yeah, I can see 10, but I don't even know how many pages it has. Maybe less than
a fun story.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would be more like an illustrated book, I guess, is what I would call it. But because pulps had illustrations, but usually they were like, after several pages in black and white.
And this one has got color illustrations, and the format, really, it's a small folded over stack of paper with paper wraps stapled together. It's comic format, like structurally, and it's got the cover art. And then inside, it's not really comic book, but it's sort of like a mini comic when you hold it. Just the size and the format of how they made it. It's I don't know.
Phil Nowlin and Dick Calkins. Calkins. I've got a couple of Tijuana Bibles that are done by Dick Calkins.
So
pretty sure.
When is this from? 1933?
Yeah, 1933, and they used really good quality paper.
Oh yes, this thing is held up great.
Yeah, most of the copies out there have white pages. Honestly, I'm not even joking. Even if you find a beater copy, it has white pages. They use really quality paper, and it's Kellogg's put it out, so they use really top-notch paper in this. So it's another cool thing just to get something from 33 with such good paper quality. And then I love the illustration on the cover. It's just such a cool retro steampunk sort of futuristic sci-fi look from 33. Very cool.
Yeah, almost looks like LB Cole-ish.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
It needs a few more swirls.
Yeah, it needs a few more swirls. Yeah.
Like it has what I call like a straw effect. Where if you can get in on that, where they do like a straight straw kind of effect, and LB would have all kinds of
You're right. Yeah.
Flares going everywhere.
Yeah, it's like a watered down LB Cole. I'll say.
Yes. Maybe he was working on the Kellogg's budget.
Look, I'll tell you, $150 for this in a 6.0 white. I mean, you can't beat that. You're not going to find anything from the 30s for $150 that's even semi intact. This is a nice 6.0 white pages. Bub's is nice too. He got his even cheaper than mine, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a super cool item, and you can go. They're not as rare as you might think, and they're cheap, and they're all super cool, like good condition, good colors, good paper quality. So it's a cool item. Anybody can get one of these. This is not like a knock your socks off item. There's probably a few on eBay right now. Yeah, I mean, it's affordable and it's cool. And Kenny was asking, is it Platinum Age? It is Platinum Age. Yeah. I think they define Platinum Age as like 1901 to 1938.
Yeah, right before Action Comics.
Yeah, and then prior to 1900 is the Victorian Age.
Yeah, that's cool. Very cool.
Aliens abound.
Boxes.
That's a Dick Calkins.
Calkins.
Well, glad we could wake up your wife with that Dick Calkins.
Dick Calkins.
Congratulations. Let's see, 38. Yes. See, Jambo knows. Yeah, he does. Jambo is a wealth of knowledge. And show that Planet Comics, will you, DS? Just show it. I'm tired of it. Just show it already.
There you go, Planet Comics 1. I know you love that one, Bub. One of my grails here. I like sci-fi and horror. Especially I like sci-fi pre-50s, but I also like it going forward. But I really love the retro sci-fi stuff, like from the 40s and 30s. And this is top of the list, Planet Comics #1. The epitome of a sci-fi comic series right here. This is #1 comic, sci-fi comic, and this is #1 issue. It's a Lufine cover, and yeah, so there you go. I'm lucky to have a 5.5 of it, honestly. It had some color touch. You can tell that was removed at some point. And you can see this white line up here was a crease that was color touched in and was scraped off. So it's been returned to its defective state where you can see where, yeah. But I mean, I'm not going to sit here and complain about the condition on a 5.5 Planet Comics 1, which is from January 40 is the date, but it would have hit the newsstands 2 months earlier. So this is actually a 1939 newsstand comic. So yeah, this is one of my favorite books. And I always like showing it when Bub's around because I know you have like every Planet Comics issue except this one, and this is now the only one I have. So between the two of us, we have pretty much the whole title, almost seems like.
Oh, that's Bub's got a few more to go.
That last week, the non-concurrent or the temporal displaced collection.
Yeah,
right.
I had it, so that counts.
This is the physical, metaphysical, and temporal displaced collection. If you got to include both of ours,
space and time displaced.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, and with Planet Comics, it's people who there's among Golden Age collectors. There's a group of collectors that are sort of known as like Planet collectors. Like if you buy one of these, they're like, oh, I didn't know you were a Planet collector. Like you collect Planet Comics. So I'm sort of out of the norm because I'm not a Planet collector. I just like a couple of the early ones, especially #1. So I'm not a Planet collector. I would call Bub, you're a Planet collector because you have a lot of issues and you're going after a run. I'm not a Planet collector, so I'm a little on the fringe as far as owning a Planet Comics, and especially owning a Planet Comics 1. Most people who own a Planet Comics 1 have multiple other issues. This is the only one I got. But there's a couple others I like. I want to get like, some of the ones from like 1 to 10 or 1 to 15. There's some really cool early ones. I particularly like the Lufine covers. So yeah, I don't know. Planet Comics 1, I figure for Alien, you got aliens all over it. And these, I guess, would be alienated terrestrials because they have gone to another planet, I believe. So
yeah,
absolutely. I'm with you. That's wonderful. I got to tell you, I'm already over here grabbing my phone and trying to work out a payment plan. So get something figured out on that book. So someday it might take a while. This is one of my favorite covers just because it kind of reminds me of the Gorn from
oh yeah, Star Trek.
Yep. Of course.
The Gunpowder episode.
Actually, that's Arena. That's based on Arena from what's that guy's name? Brown, I think, is the writer for that. Yeah, Frederick Brown.
Yeah,
I like the little skull on the ground too.
Oh, I love it. It's got so much detail to it.
Yeah, the crashed rocket ship in the background.
Yep.
All the Planet Comics are awesome. They really are, all of them. And the further you go on in the title, the more affordable they become. And it ran for 73 issues, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, so 73 issues. The first 22 are really expensive. And then after that, they tail off pretty significantly. And you can pick up ones in the 40s, 50s, 60s pretty affordably in decent shape. So, I mean, anybody who wants some sci-fi stuff from the Golden Age, look at Planet Comics. They're on eBay. They're all over. And there's Fiction House. And they print them.
What are you doing to me, Diaz?
Remember
Shut up,
Bub, man.
Shut up.
Keep it on the down low.
Well, you got a huge head start, Bub. You already got all of them.
Splinter. Look at Splinter.
I don't have them all. I have most of the non-rivet covers. So I don't know how many I have. I think I have somewhere around 32 or 33 out of the 73. So I've still
almost halfway there.
Still got quite a few to go. I think this is something akin to what you're talking about there, Roger.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
This is Unknown
World. Does it say
the
author there? Is it Frederick Brown?
Yes, it does. It's Friedrich Brown.
Okay. I thought so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big sci-fi guy, so I read the book way back when.
So isn't that great?
Or is it?
They even titled that episode "The Arena," didn't they?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it was called Arena. Yeah.
Yeah. Here's another one of my favorites. My wife calls this the majorette outfit for the girl there.
Oh yeah. 76 trombones. Yep. Yeah. That's what I'm looking
Yeah, is that 52?
That is 52, my favorite number.
One of my favorites too, and I'll tell you that one is so tough to find good color strike on it.
Yes,
you've got it. You've got the purple.
That purple is always worn to blue.
Always. This one of the best looking copies I've ever seen of it. Right there. You never see that bright purple on that monster on that copy.
I passed up a lot of subpar copies in order to get that copy.
Well, that's a beautiful, beautiful copy of that book.
And this one as well. This one has a lot of centering issues. This issue usually, and the staples are always in the front on this book. So if you see that, you know that that's normal. Like every issue, and it's not a spine roll or anything. Just every issue has the staples in the front.
Yep.
Some of them have the staples over her face. They're they're so bad.
Oh, really?
This writing, it'll be over the writing.
Yep.
So
yeah, I had a Planet Comics exactly like that. They were like an inch in were the staples.
Yeah.
I mean, just ridiculous. Yeah.
So I had to wait and bide my time and wait for a good copy to come along that did not have the staples across the cover, and this was the best one I got. So part of that is knowing what you're willing to be good with. Whenever you're collecting Golden Age, that's always part of it. You got to know where you are. What do you want out of your Golden Age? Because you're not going to get 9.8 white pages. So if you're coming at it from the matte perspective,
forget it.
It's just not going to happen unless you're, uber rich. And even then, availability is still an issue. So
yeah, because all those 100 copies are probably in collections that are not going to let go unless the owner dies or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's all the early planets. Well, most of the run, I think, have mile high copies that are just stunning. I mean, mile high copies are stunning for whatever issue it is. But the Planet Comics issues, I feel like they had really good paper quality, but the inks had a tendency to fade much more than inks from other companies, because the Fiction House books, the inks fade so easily. It's most of the copies of Fiction House stuff out there are faded to some degree.
The covers aren't glossed well either.
No, they're not. So the mile high copies were basically just stacked up in the dark, cool place for however many years, 40 years.
No boards.
And the colors on those are they're like wet and shiny inks. It's really a joy. And if you see, who posts them from time to time, who owns a fair number of them, I think, is Rick's Neat Stuff on Instagram. Very well-known Golden Age collector, but he's shown quite a few mile high planets, and they are stunning to look at. Really, mile high planets are stunning. So I'm pretty happy with mine. I think the colors on this are pretty good. Other than the color touch having been removed, I think I got maybe a slight discount when I bought it in an auction. Cream to off-white, but it's a 5.5, and the colors are good. This is a really, really nice copy, I think.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that I bought this from Rick. And he had upgraded to a much, much, much better copy. But I'm pretty sure that I had bought this from him on the CGC forums.
Yeah, probably. I mean, hey, that's a Rivet issue, unrestored, Blue Label 1.5. I mean, that's a nice copy, bub.
Yeah, Dan Zonarowicz cover.
Yeah,
and I can tell you, I'm almost tempted to crack it because I think I could get a 2.0 after a clean and press and some tape residue removal, which I'm getting much better at. I think a little bit of wet cleaning on that, which is scary to some people, but I've been working on it for a couple months, and I could probably crack this and get a 2.0. I'm fairly confident in that. But some other time.
What's the note on the label? What does the note say?
Tape on cover, that's it.
Oh, so it's fully attached and everything.
Yeah, that tape is there too. It's over the top, but I can remove that.
Well, the removal of the tape will probably give you half a point alone.
Yeah. And clean it up, and it needs a press too. I mean, it can do, and it already has a little bit of that, for a time there, getting those Newton rings.
Yeah.
So it has a little bit of, whatever, oil slick, Gorilla Jizz, whatever it is. It's got a little bit of that on there.
Gorilla Jizz?
I think.
What is that? Where did that come from?
So I believe I can get that off there and get at least a 2.0 out of it. So,
oh man,
we'll see.
Well, I want to see what else Roger's got. Enough Planet Comics talk.
There's never
yeah.
comics.
No. I
You're
sold.
interrupt it. You're going to interrupt it with Power Girl. So go ahead, Ron.
That's right.
Well,
I sold my
on
Planet comics, so I'm not going back into that one. So I sold those back in the 90s for way too little, I'm sure. Yeah, just a few more aliens. Another Kryptonian here, Power Girl, who we knew nothing about until this issue. She just came out of nowhere. And said, "I'm Superman's cousin," or whatever it is she says. I forgot. And then, of course, we have Steve Whiting's in the chat here. One of his favorites, Rocket Raccoon, nee Rocky Raccoon, who is an anthropomorphic extraterrestrial. So we got.
Oh boy. Where's Kenny with his fat wallet now?
two $5 words there for Kenny.
That's a $10 word, I think.
You put 5 and 5, you get 10.
You're gonna have to trade him a book for that one.
Yeah, you're right, man. You know my address, Kenny. Anyway, so cool little character though. I mean, I thought he was kind of a wisecracking, ne'er-do-well, kind of almost anti-hero-ish, but really cool little character, actually. I think now he's morphed to more of a serious, or not serious, but more of a aggressive character. Here he was more like funny and just kind of an impish kind of character, shall we say.
Yeah, I feel like his mouth has gotten dirtier over the years.
Yeah.
For sure.
Correct. Yeah.
He's become more salty.
I remember I always liked Rocket Raccoon. I remember when I was younger, seeing him in various things or whatever. I always thought he was cool, and I never have ever owned that issue ever. Even now when I'm picking up books, it's not like a super rare book. There's plenty of them out there to flip, and I never come across one, and I've never had that issue, and I've never read it. And that's one I really will be very happy when I finally score one and I can read through it. So I've never read that issue. I've never owned it. Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, it's okay. It's not the end of the world or anything. It's his first comic appearance. His first appearance is actually a Marvel preview, the one with the satanic cover.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But there he's Rocky Raccoon, but it's the same guy, no doubt about it.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't go into that expecting too much. I mean, it's a Hulk issue in the late 200s with Rocky.
Yeah.
Throwing that Hulk shade early.
Yeah.
There's not much going on in the late 200s in the Hulk series. You know what I mean? There's some Hulk stories, but it's not the best. The best number range for Hulk stories.
Yeah, this is not high art in any shape or form, but it's fun. It's still a fun read, but it's not something that's super memorable, shall we say?
Right.
So, but anyway, I just brought it out because
Hey, Heroes Icons wants to know how you can contact you, DS. I'm pretty sure his IG handle is DS Comics PCH.
Yeah, I just put it in the chat there.
Oh well, thanks. All right, Roger. What else you got?
Or you could just shout out toward Maryland. He'll hear you.
Just drop some change out of a hole in your pants, and he'll be in the driveway.
ASM 300. ASM 300. He'll come up. This is an interesting little character. Obviously, I love the obscure characters, as you guys know. I'm kind of.
You're kidding.
Yeah, well, And this is actually a human, but he has the characteristics of 4 different aliens and their respective abilities, because of they were all kind of trying to get him, and they came into this gimmick, this one of these sci-fi apparatuses, and he absorbed their powers.
Isn't one of them a one-legged octopus?
No, that's another guy. He has magnetism, lightning, flight, and strength.
What's his name?
Ultra, the multi-alien.
Good grief.
Cool.
Yeah. This is the 60s, guys. This is the kind of goofy stuff that was around,
hey, I'm not hating
on this.
Yeah, nice. I used to have a little bit of a run of Mystery in Space at one point, and I never had that one, but that's cool stuff.
It's cool. It's cool, but super, super goofy and off the wall stuff. Anyway. Well, speaking of goofy and off the wall, here we go. This is about as goofy and off the wall as it gets.
You're going to bring that piece of crap out. That's unreadable. That whole thing is unreadable, Roger.
It's terrible. It's awful. It
doesn't even make sense.
No,
the characters don't even talk to each other. They just talk out loud or something.
Yeah, no,
The dialogue isn't even fluid in any way.
No. They answer questions without being asked, and they say stuff without being in context. But super terrible series, but I love it. It's as wacky and as weird as it gets. And this guy here is actually I believe he's an alien construct. It's not clear really, but I think it's an alien construct. So he's not. I don't think he's like a born alien, like that came over here, extraterrestrial. Just bizarre. Let me tell you, if you want to have a series that is just the weirdest and most ridiculous thing you've ever read, get this, right? Captain Marvel from Myron Fast, MF Enterprises, okay? Split, and then a piece of him goes off, and he's got all kinds of quirky powers, but he is an alien. He is an alien or alien construct. Now I don't recall. All kinds of rip-offs, Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, you name it, it's there. Phallic symbols, the whole bit is on there. Just something that you'll want to avoid unless you're like me and you love the weirdest stuff on the planet.
Roger's always hunting for the low points in comic history.
Yeah, exactly. Everybody's looking for the hot comics. I'm looking for the absolute coldest comics I can find.
Yeah, but the stuff you have, it's, you have quality, like recognizable quality, high-end stuff, and then the stuff that Bub is bashing, it's sort of got like a campy, charming feel to it that I totally appreciate, because a lot of the Golden Age stuff I have is not have the best stuff interior, but there's a lot of campiness, and it's like Plan 9 from Outer Space goodness on a lot of that
Correct.
stuff. It's charming.
That's a very good analogy. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a look back at an era of camp. It's like the old Star Trek series is campy. I mean, that's not good writing in that show. It's freaking horrible, but it's just so good with Captain Kirk's overacting and the campiness of it, and that's what a lot of these old comics are like too. Yeah, so I don't know. Some of those are they have a cool, charming, campy quality to them.
Yeah, I agree with that, but definitely they're not for the. If you're looking for any kind of serious read, that is not the series to read. Because, like Bub said, it's you'll be scratching your head like, is this written for some other aliens? I mean, it makes no sense whatsoever.
You think you're going crazy when you're reading it. And to add insult to injury, it forces you to read the same panel and the same page and go back up like 2 panels to see if you missed something.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
How do you get from cover to cover? You've read that book 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Well, I mean, some of the priciest books are also the campiest and the cheesiest, like Golden Age Superman, Silver Age Action Comics. It doesn't get worse than that, honestly.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I have a few of them. You're right. And the Lois Lane. Oh man.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Oh man.
A lot of the old Fawcett stuff, the old like Golden Age Captain Marvel and the Marvel family, the stories it's very childish, and I know they were writing to a strictly kid audience back then, so that's part of it. But even like X-Men 1, it's pretty juvenile. You know what I mean? So
bad,
you can't always get Claremont. You know what I mean? It's not all. That's the minority, I feel like, in comics, and most of the stuff is ho hum story wise, but it's got a charming quality to it because it's vintage art and stories, and it's got a cool factor aside from being a good read. And if you're shallow like me, then you don't even read them. You just look at the covers, stare at the picture. So that's all I need.
True.
I always tell people DS doesn't read comics; he reads the Grader's notes.
I'll tell you what.
He reads
comics from the Grader's Notes show, because those are they're almost all of the books they're doing are books I have never read, and I'll catch it live or on a replay. And I'll feel like I've read the book because they cover it so in depth. You guys do a great job on that show.
I always feel like I could have read the book 17 times in the time it takes them to get through it, but I still enjoy it. Yes. Yeah, I try to jump in on hour 3 so I can give my 2 cents on the back cover.
We are the comic equivalent of the Nitpicker's Guide.
Yeah, for sure.
We dive deep in there, guys. It's not for starter comic collectors or anything, or readers.
Yeah, you guys are very harsh and strict. You you hold your comics to a very high standard for that show, because there's some stuff you review and you guys are giving it low grades, and I'm like, yeah, I read that. I thought it was decent. I need to rethink my thoughts on that, because apparently it's not that good, because these guys know. Well, say it sucks, and I liked it, so maybe I should go back and read it again.
Well, that's we kind of I made a point of this a few episodes back, that there's really two ways to read a comic. You can read it for the entertainment value and the nostalgia behind it, right? Just the pure love that you have for it. And then you can read it with a super critical eye. And those are two very diverse ways of looking at the comic. When you look at it the way we do, you know, we've ripped people like Kirby and Liefeld to shreds, you know?
Yeah.
But it's nothing personal. It's just that in that particular, you know, it's a snapshot. That particular issue had these problems with it. And sometimes they're paradoxical issues in there. And sometimes it's just that they took a day off, you know?
Well, yeah, I remember the one you did about Machine Man. And I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a cool story. I liked that character. I liked that book. It reminded me of one of those like action shows from the 70s, like TJ Hooker type goofiness.
Oh, man.
Wow.
TJ Hooker. I have never heard Machine Man being compared to TJ Hooker. That's
wow.
I mean, it had like that sort of fast and loose. They don't really he didn't put too much thought into how the character got to the next panel. He just sort of moved along at a good pace, and it's just a good, fun read. And the character's cool. I like Machine Man. He's a cool character.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I did too.
Yeah, I mean, if you really dissect that from a literary standpoint, it's pretty crappy.
Yeah, but the story just didn't hold up when you look at it from a critical point of view. But again, coming back to what we were talking about, this is cool because I think aliens is a great trope that comics use, because you know you have obviously humans have limitations. You know, Batman. I know he's a very popular character, but you know he has limitations because since we are human, we know what is somewhat possible, although he's such a high level athletically and mentally, but still it's within a certain parameter. And aliens, you can open up the box and think, do whatever you want. They could think the universe into existence or kill it. And if you can't say that that's not possible, because it's an alien. It's something that's a figment of imagination. It's just a possibility. You know what I mean? It's just not. Obviously, we don't know if even aliens exist. At least I don't. But the possibilities of an alien race I think is perfect for comics, because they have such potential to bring plots and bring characters into so many different directions.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And there's a little side note here. There's I don't know if he's a physicist or an astronomer or scientist or whatever, and I can't remember his first name. His name's Drake, and he did Drake's equation, where he tried to come up with an equation to calculate the possibility of life outside of the Earth. And he calculated the number of planets the number of galaxies we think there are, the number of stars that would be habitable around, the number of those that have planets, the number of those planets that would be in a habitable zone, the number of those that would give rise to life, and then the number of those that would have sufficiently advanced life where we would maybe be able to contact them. And it's called the Drake equation. And the number that comes up with, and it's based on speculation and assumption of probabilities. It's a lot of guesswork, but it's cool.
Right.
And it comes up with the possibility, or the equation shows that there's tons of other advanced civilizations out there in the universe. So kind of cool thing to look up if you're into like sci-fi and extraterrestrial life. The Drake's equation, it's a pretty cool little thing. And it doesn't involve any heavy math or heavy lifting. You don't have to have a background in science to sort of understand it, because most of it's just guesswork and probabilities. And so, yeah, it's cool. Drake's equation, it's cool stuff.
Awesome.
I'll look it up, definitely.
You check that out. What do you got showing there, DS? Let me see that done there. What color bolt is that?
Well, it is a blue one. So yeah, Blue Bolt was a title and a character that ran prior to Star Publications, which is L.B. Cole is actually, I know everybody says McFarlane and Image are the first, creator-owned publishers. That's not true.
Oh no, no way.
Used all his. He saved up during his work in the 40s and bought Star Publications, and he ran Star Publications, and he did almost all the covers. And this is one of the early Blue Bolts that he took over, and it used to have a character named Blue Bolt, which is in this one, but very soon after he took it over, they kept the title, but it has nothing to do with the character Blue Bolt anymore. But this one still does. And this one, I can never get it to show good in photos or on video, but the colors on this are really good. But it never shows properly. So I don't know, but this would be a top 5 Golden Age sci-fi book, along with Planet Comics 1. This is not as big as that, but this is a legit top 5 Golden Age sci-fi book by L.B. Cole.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a one I've been looking for years, and I was able to get a nice copy, 4.5 creamed off white, and it presents really well. It has a small chunk missing off the edge of the back cover, which drops the grade, but the front, it's solid. It's a solid copy of this book, and you just don't see it that often, and it's pricey and it's sought after. So I'm really, really glad I was able to score that. But yeah, the killer sci-fi scene on there with like a griffin and Bub. This is like the woman from Star Trek. The one episode that Kirk got with the green.
That cover always reminds me of this cover of Punch Comics 20.
Oh yeah, nice. The
vulture, right?
Yep. It's got that giant vulture, and he's grabbing the women like that.
Man.
And it's got that same kind of, like dangle. I like the dangle effect. I don't know what else to call it.
Tangle.
Good stuff. Yeah. That's fantastic. I love that cover.
Yeah, that does look like,
this is one of my favorite books. And you sort of have to wing it on price on these sometimes, so it's not like there's a lot of data on a book like this. But I got it for a price. I'm like, man, it's not a steal, but a rock solid. I got this for a good price. And then the very next day, a worse looking 4.5 sold on the boards for 20% more.
Wow.
So that sort of made me feel like I definitely got a good deal. I already felt like I did, but I mean, it wasn't cheap, but it could have been more expensive. So I was happy to get it at the price I got it at.
The Orion Slave Girl, Jambo says.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Good stuff. We've got some Joe Chiodo here. We'll just throw a couple of these. Here's some Dave Stevens. You guys like that, don't you?
Oh, yeah.
Love Dave Stevens.
Oh, yeah.
Good Dave Stevens stuff there.
More Stevens.
I just had a trio. I picked up a small collection recently you guys probably know about, but I picked up recently in that collection some Dave Stevens stuff, which surprisingly sold almost instantly. And it was these issues.
Oh, yeah. I've got all 3 of those.
I know you do. And this one had
Valkyrie
signature on it.
Oh.
What? Oh. You sold that?
What?
Yeah, dude.
You bum.
Bub is killing. Bub is dying over here.
Well, I mean, if it said to Bub, I would definitely.
You could add that. You could add that.
You didn't even think about what my real name is.
Well, it's not Bub.
It's not Jim either, so you're good.
Not Jim either.
But I could have kept it, I guess. But anyway, I sold it. So yeah, I mean, I like Dave Stevens, but I sold this trio, including the one that you just showed, I think.
That's all right. I would have sold it too.
They're not hard to find. You can find another one. But I think I priced it too low because of that signature, and maybe I should have asked for more, but whatever.
Well, part of the problem with the Dave Stevens books is that he constantly, with his signatures, is that they're almost all on the interior, as opposed to the cover. They're almost always on splash pages, top of the splash page, bottom, whatever. They're almost always on splash page. And then they're also always then sometimes he writes them out. Sometimes he doesn't do his full signature like that is. It's very nice. And they're also almost always personalized.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So getting a Dave Stevens signature in his classic Dave Stevens, which is the Dave over the Stevens, as opposed to running next to each other, and getting one that's not personalized and getting it on the cover, That's very difficult to do, and getting it on one of his better books, like that one is.
Yeah.
But fortunately, I'm not mad at you because I just scored this tonight alone.
Oh, nice.
So this is coming home. BUB'S Comics pulled this one out of his hat. So, and that is probably, I want to say it's my favorite Dave Stevens cover, even though it's not a Rocketeer cover, just because this is the book that every time I see it, I buy it. And I have owned collectively, if we're going into the temporal displace collection once again,
yes,
the incontemporate collection of BUB'S Comics, I think I've owned about 15 copies of this book.
Wow.
And every time I get about 3 or 4 of them, I line them up next to each other on a desk, and I pick the best one. And then I let the others go for a while. I'll sell them off.
Yeah, that's a good way to do it.
And then I get about 3 or 4 more, and I reevaluate, and I shuffle them and everything. Like I check staple quality, I check page quality, I do everything just to see what the best one is. But this one's coming home with me, so very proud. I'm going to be the proud owner of this. I've been trying to get a Dave Stevens signed book for years.
Well, I didn't know. I guess I probably figured you had a signed book, but those three that I had were like 8.0 range. They were nothing to go crazy about grade wise because those books are common enough in high grade. But yeah, I mean, I didn't even think of you, Bub. So my bad.
That's all right. It said 2 Jim on it, so you're right about that because I have turned down a great many of those books that are like that, and also people try and sell me CBCS copies that are verified signatures in slabs with the signature on the interior of the book.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't even see the signature. It's verified, but you can't see it. And then, so I don't know if it has the classic Dave over Stevens or the Dave next to Stevens. And since that can't be verified, I can't buy it because that's off the list. Plus, it's not on the cover. So that's 2 strikes, potentially. Yeah. 1 strike for sure, maybe 2.
Well, I think if mine didn't say 2 Jim, if it just said Dave Stevens, I probably would have sent it to CBCS and got it slabbed. But, when it comes to signatures, I'm not a signature guy, but I know most people who are signature people don't like the personalized part of the signature. That takes a lot out of the wind, out of the sails of the signature when it's
to me.
Yeah, I mean, if it says to Bub Dave Stevens, I will definitely hit you up, and then you're good to go. But yeah, I didn't know the 2 Jim, and I have too many books, and I that collection. I'm just trying to move stuff and get money, and none of them were like even in the 9s. Otherwise, I would have probably slabbed at least a couple of them, but 8.0 range, sort of run-of-the-mill, super cool Dave Stevens books, though. But yeah, I mean, I can't keep everything, and I knew you already had all 3 of those books anyway. So.
Oh yeah. Now I have one of my Sheena books, my Jungle Comics, where they did the new run of Jungle Comics. It's just reprints, but that one has a color strike problem. So I do need a new one of those. I just haven't got around to getting one. It's readily available. So
yeah, I have one
on it, or I'd show it.
I got one Dave Stevens, and it's Crossfire 12. I do want to pick up some other Dave Stevens books, but I'm not in a hurry, and I want really, really high-grade copies of them because they're, for me, I consider those moderns, from the 80s. So I want high-grade, and there's only there's a few that I really want. The one I really want, I do want to get a 9.8 of it, is that 3D Vixens, and it's super tough to find at 9.8.
Oh yeah,
the yellow cover with the girls in the space coming out of the spaceship or running into the spaceship while they're shooting.
I think that's a Vanguard.
I think on the back cover of the Vanguard is that image which they used on the cover of the 3D Vixens. I don't think it's the same Vanguard, is it? I think they're 2 separate books.
Is that the one you're talking about?
Yes, but that's the back cover of the 3D Vixens.
Oh, I see. This is the front cover of Vanguard Illustrated 2.
Yeah, I think the cover of that is the back cover of 3D Vixens, and the front cover of 3D Vixens is them maybe hanging out in a car or something. I can't remember, but that one's really tough to find. The 3D Vixens is tough to find in a 9.8. And there's only a couple 9.6s, but I want one of those, but I want a high grade. And then I also want that Vanguard, but I'm not in a hurry. The Vanguard is easier to find than the 3D Vixen.
Yes. But all those PC books are tough to get in high grades. They're always beat up.
Yeah,
they're cheap books, and they were treated as such.
Yeah, they were in dollar bins for the longest time.
Yeah,
in the late '80s. So.
But I've got my favorite one, which is Crossfire 12, the Marilyn Monroe cover.
Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah, it took you kept looking at mine. You finally got one, didn't you?
Well, you know what made me get it? It's not the hardest book to find in a 9.8, no. But the one I found, I pulled the trigger on it just because. I mean, the price was decent anyway, but it had the old school CGC holder too, with the thin label, the dark blue thin label up there with the small.
Oh, wow, yeah, with the white box.
Yeah, I have a couple of those. Yeah.
Yeah, so I thought that was super cool to go with that book. So I just really like the super old slab on the older book, and it just I don't know, it just seemed like the right copy for me, so I grabbed it.
Yeah, I can dig it, and of course, we all know that there's one alien to rule them all.
Oh, man.
And that's Alf. And Roger always likes to call him by his real first name. What is it, Roger?
I don't know. Alien life form?
No, Gordon Shemwell.
Oh, man.
You knew that.
Dude, man, I haven't seen that show since the 90s, man. Come on. Give me a break.
Hey, what's going on, Davis? Wow, we've got a lot of people come in. We've kind of not been shouting out the chat as much. But if this is an alien, you all need to know what happens when aliens attack. Ah!
I knew that was coming.
Oh, look out. Look out. They're all over us.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, good stuff.
Yeah, that's a classic book, and that's a tough book, and it's pricey. People like it. It's got a really high novelty value to it.
I wouldn't call it a classic book. That's what.
Wow, thanks a lot, Raj.
I'd call it more of an infamous book.
Yeah, it's infamous. The same people that own that Alf book are the same type of collectors that go after the Hold My Wood Golden Age book.
Now don't make me show my wood. I show it every week.
It's that same group that goes
after the Archie beat off.
Yeah, I've got that too. I had to beat off 3 guys.
Yeah. I think Bub checks all the marks for that type of collector, DS.
Well, Bub, do you have the one with the pearl necklace and the woman's like, just what do I have to do to get those?
Well, I don't. But to me, that's one
on the list.
I don't feel like it is on the list. I do want that book, but I don't feel like it is as much an innuendo cover. That is just outright. There's no, it's obvious what she's saying. You know what I mean? I find it to be a little less of an innuendo and more of just a statement. I like the Archie pearl necklace one better.
Yeah, and Jackson Roykart was mentioning that in the chat too. That's a famous one as well.
Yep, the Archie where I think he's asking Betty. He's like, "Oh, I got Betty whatever for her birthday," and he's like, or her anniversary. I don't know what he says. And she's like, "Well, that's cool. I think all she was expecting was a pearl necklace."
Yeah.
So that one, I like that one better, and so that's higher on my list. And a little bit cheaper than the Golden Age one. Alex, the comic order, just picked up that one not too long ago. The one that the Golden Age one you're talking about.
Yeah. Those are really gained a strong following in the last few years, and they're not cheap books anymore. For the longest time, I feel like those were very affordable. They're a little cult sort of collector around them, but. They've really gained steam, and they are very popular books now. And those more suggestive ones, they're pricey books now.
Yeah, they are. They're raised, but you know me, I'm not going to spend that.
So, no, I mean, you'll be patient. You'll find a presentable lower grade for a good price. Yeah, and you're a good example of if you want to get super cool Golden Age books, you don't need to spend an arm and a leg. You just be patient, look around, accept condition issues, but presentable, and you can have almost any book you want.
Yep. That's my motto. We're working on it. We're building. Boy, guys, we've been over here yakking and yakking and yakking. We've been neglecting the chat. We got all kinds of 90 miles from comics, and I won't tell you what I thought MF stood for before. But 90 miles from comics here, and Davis Comics is here, and Mastodon, and Collecting Chaos, Aggressively Relaxing. We can't go through them all, but we want to thank you all for being here. House to the End. My God, it just goes on and on. You guys, Lady Fantastic was here. Just thank you so much, everyone, for coming and supporting the show. And Perry's Comics dropped in. Let's hope he dropped back out. We're worried about him. Chaos and Comics. You guys, just thank you so much for being a part of the show and playing with us tonight. Roger needs this in his week. DS needs this in his week. And I know I need this in my week. It's always big fun to get on here and play with you all. So thank you so much. Maybe you learned something tonight. What do you guys think? Did you think anybody learned anything tonight? I don't know. It was mostly a party, wasn't it?
Well, we had the Drake equation.
Oh, yeah, we had that's right.
We learned about John Carter. We learned about John Carter.
That's
Carter,
right.
Buck Rogers.
Buck Rogers.
We learned about LB Cole buying the comic line. And
we had some vocabulary words, anthropomorphism, and
that's right.
Extraterrestrial.
Yeah.
Obfuscation. All those great words.
We've done well tonight. Oh, I forgot about the Brood, Roger. Great. And we got DS's Startling Comics. Oh, we could do this. We could do this every week. What do you think?
I'm about out of sci-fi stuff, so.
Poor Linda got a workout tonight, man. She's struggling.
Oh man,
she's gonna be kicking off those boots later and grabbing her feet.
Yeah, I have. My PC is small. I basically have a category that I can do one show on like this and show one every 15 minutes, and that's it. That exhausts that theme in my PC. That's it.
Look what Bill is saying there, Bub.
What did he say? What's he saying? More.
Where
are we at? All right. I lost him. Go ahead. Tell me what he said.
Right below Jambo Comics there, he says,
college credit.
I get college credit for watching this show. Yes. Yes, you do. And registration is filling up. So make sure you register and pay like all these other individuals have paid Bub to get your college credit.
Yeah. Checks payable to Bub, and Bub will send you a printed out diploma.
That's right.
We're not that.
After 4 years of watching the show, you get a diploma and probably the biggest headache you've ever had in your life. Yes.
Oh man. Thank you guys for being on the show as always. You guys rock. Highlight of my week again. Glad to have you guys. We may coax a fellow chatter in next week. So I have a short list of long-winded people. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But we're going to we could go a little longer, but wait a minute. Roger's got to go. Never comes for DS or me. And Roger's got the magic smile there. He's all right. Well, Roger's got a visitor. He's got to go take care of Liz and unpark the dog that he reparked earlier and something like that. And if we stay on that, we'll continue to have them their tacticular difficulties, and we don't want that. So we'll catch you all next time on No Faces Comic Chat. DS, you got anything going on your big channel this month?
Yes, this month, tomorrow, I am expecting a CGC box back with 10 books, all Golden Age. 8 of them are war books, like 50s Korean War era, Atom Age, Atlas type war books. And a few of them end up being the highest grade on the census. And they're all really nice. I'm very pleased with the grades. So I'm going to do that unboxing tomorrow afternoon, probably. Super excited about that. Really, really cool books in there.
Awesome.
And then Golden Guys tomorrow night on the Comic Core at 10 p.m. Eastern, where we just talk Golden Age. Do that on Tuesday nights. And then other than that, I try to hit as many live chats as I can, watch stuff on the replay. I'm not very good at commenting a lot of times, but, I try to stay plugged in the community as best I can. And that's about it.
No 5 minutes. Hey, you guys, they're picking on me for the intros, DS. Can you believe that?
I can't believe it. But for those of you who don't like intros, you can watch my channel because I just jump right in. It's low tech. I don't even know how to do intro anyway, so I couldn't.
Let me tell you something. I worked hard on this one. Did you guys not notice that I selected key books for both of you guys and myself?
Yeah.
Intro.
Your intros are awesome, man.
Yeah,
You'll have to look next week, but there's 3 books for that are picked out specifically for DS. There's 3 books picked out specifically for Roger, and there's 4 books picked out specifically for me because I had room for 10 books and, well, you know, and all that. So so 4 for me, 3 for each of you. So maybe next week you'll look a little closer and be a little bit more appreciative. Probably not though. Roger, what do you got going on your fine channel in the next 12 hours?
Next 12 hours, probably not much, but a little bit after that, probably tomorrow. I'm actually going to do a little. I'm still putting together a little special about comics and cereal. You know how you had that Kellogg's Buck Rogers illustrated book, whatever it may be. I find that there's a big connection between comics and cereal, especially in the promotional comic scenes. So I'm putting together a little video about that tomorrow.
Oh, cool. That sounds good. I always enjoy your Tuesday, the most exciting doldrums on the internet. Come out on Tuesday. Here's the way I look at your Tuesday videos. Often there are things that I have no interest in and are complete, deep dives into obscura, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But then I start watching and it reels you in. It sucks you in. And then all of a sudden I look up, it's been 20 minutes. I'm like, oh my gosh, what did I just learn about? Who the hell is E-Man? What's going on?
Yep. If you want to learn about all the things that you never want to know about, watch my Tuesday videos. Soak that one in.
But you'll love it. You'll
love it. Hopefully.
You'll thank yourself.
It's not going to be that long. It's probably going to be somewhere between 15-minute tops. But
no, they're fairly curt, and when they're not, then you usually do 2-parters or
I do 2-parters, right?
So, yeah.
I've learned a lot from you, Bub, and your criticism.
I'm pretty sure there was a 4-parter at one point.
criticisms.
It took me a month to watch that whole video. It was in 4 parts, I think.
Yeah, that was a long one. Yeah.
Yeah, it was good stuff, though. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. DS, you want to tell everybody what you want to tell them?
Yeah, make sure you do your homework.
All right. Thank you, DS. And Roger?
Yeah, everybody, you know what I'm going to say. Everybody, especially nowadays, be blessed and please be back.
And this is BUB'S Comics signing off and reminding everybody to read a comic and don't apologize for the glare. Bye-bye.